Why, hello everyone! Welcome back. Welcome to the Shrouded Isle, Sunken Sins. I'm going to start this, and yes, I have the game. And let me first begin while the while the story plays, by apologizing for not having anything out earlier. I did mean to. And this may sound like a very silly excuse, but my graphics card has completely bit the dust. I'm just not able to run anything. Crashes the PC if it loads up. And Really, cat? Really? Really? My cat fell behind something. He clawed out, but you probably heard all that. My graphics card died. And I have I basically have one on back order. A friend who's in the next town over, who has an old 900 series NVIDIA thingamajigger. You should help out, but I have to get to him, which could be tricky, given that he's out of town. So, we're stuck with some of these games, this is particularly good. So when I say stuck with, I don't want you to, bad game. No, this is a very good game. I quite enjoyed it. I played it a little while ago on my laptop. And tonight I just figured, well, I need something that's going to be low with the graphics. You'll notice this is only running at 720p. So those of you with super ultra high def monitors, I'm very sorry. But that's alright, it works. And it works at a nice, looks like 23 frame rate. So, that's where we're going to start. And when I get the new card, then we can go back to other things like, stuff from like, I don't know, 2015, 2016 maybe, the fancy things. Some of them fancy dancy thingamajiggers. I've got tea and a bagel, and my cat has climbed into the closet where hopefully he won't get stuck. We'll find out. He's adorable. But apologies for not having anything sooner. With any luck, this will work very nicely and smoothly. So let's begin. For those who are not familiar with this game, we are managing a cult, as you saw in the opening credits. We have an abandoned tower. Very fancy. And as leader of the cult, it is our job to sacrifice people to our dark and horrible god, while trying at the same time to manage the politics of these 5 houses. Kegney, Yosefka, Cadwell, Efferson, Blackbourne. And my cat, apparently. Each season we'll have to select an advisor from these 5 houses. The advisor is someone who might be sacrificed later on. And our goal is to try and manage people so that, we sacrifice from just the right houses so that nobody gets really, really angry with us. They can get a little mad, but not really angry. Obviously, if we sacrifice someone from Kegney, they will become very dissatisfied with us for killing one of their own. The goal is to, as you see here, 5 years remaining. The goal is to get to the end of the 5 years with all of the houses still allied to us and awaken our Dark Lord. Along the way, he's going to give us some quests to sacrifice major sinners. And we'll get to the sins and virtues in a minute here. So we're going to start here with this, we have a letter in the cathedral. That's kind of our house. And then we have each of these houses where we'll have to go and inspect people and get some advisors from. So looking at the cathedral. Ooh, Fania Blackbourne, what are you doing? Are undisciplined. I've been waiting to see you. A few adjustments. House Efferson whips can be modified with glass and metal to cause more pain in less time. You fund experimentation? Ooh. Ooh. Now, we know that Fania Blackbourne has a sin. They are undisciplined. They make discipline go down. That's not so good. But we have a lot of discipline right now. You'll see this bar is pretty high. It's above this threshold, so we're good. You also notice that there's various virtues and sins on there, some of which are bold because they are particularly major or minor. And each of the virtues has various other adjectives and virtues and sins, etc., associated with them. So we have a lot of space on discipline right now. We really need to buff up fervor. Each of these options will, do things. So having Nor technology gives us a penalty to ignorance, but it could do good things for us. We don't know what this one will do. Some of them will also affect house relations. So in this case, we are 40 on ignorance. That's pretty good. Now, having extraordinarily high scores in any of these is particularly good, but you don't need to, so long as it's not below this threshold at the end of the year. Science is sometimes a worthy cause. Let's call these new tools absolvers. There we go. Ignorance down 7, but fervor plus 10. Divine inspiration. Excellent. That's exactly what we needed. We needed extra fervor, and so that will increase later on. Generally, things increase at the end of the season. So, ignorance went down. In this case, they increased now, but you'll see how that progresses as we go through the season. Let's look at each of these people. Each house has a leader. The leader of the house cannot be chosen as an advisor. We have to pick one of these wonderful portraits. We have Miri and Casimir and Laszlo and Bogdan and etc. We also know that we've got some that have, every person has like a sin here, and they have a virtue, and we don't know if it's a major or minor, but we can begin inquiries, and we can try to figure out things, learn more about them. So, who would we like to know about? One of the things we have here is that we know that Miri knows too much. The thing about an inquiry is an inquiry will move a question mark into a vague saying, or it'll move a vague saying into something more definite. So let's click this on Miri. Ooh. Interesting. They've updated. So if we specifically inquire about her virtue, it doesn't affect the house points. If we inquire about her vice, it does affect house points just a little bit because they're like, oh, how dare you assume. Still, they're relatively happy, and these vices are actually really important. So, we want to find out about the vice. She's imaginative. That's minus 20 is a big deal, but it's not major. Notice it still says minor vice. So we don't need to sacrifice her. We still have one inquiry remaining, so we don't really need to talk to her right now, at least. Let's look at Laszlo. Notice that we already inquired about one vice, so asking another isn't going to be happy. Still, we need to find things out. Also, they're just not happy at the second inquiry, no matter what. How dare we look into their loyalty? He is stubborn. That's not a big deal. We don't really need to sacrifice him. We don't know what his virtue is going to be. So, well, look at that. We can rename someone. How fancy. So we're going to go through here and look at everybody. Not everybody gives you 2. Some people only give you 1. That is dependent on how satisfied people are. So, Yosefka here. We don't know very much about any of these. And we're going to need some penitence, and none of these have a lot of penitence. But you know what? This person could affect penitence. Let's inquire about their vice. Ooh. A major vice. This person would be a good person to sacrifice. Just saying. So you know what? In fact, because of that, let's appoint her for our advisor. Oh, she fell from the cliffs as a child and suffered brain damage. How tragic. Oh well. Now we know who it's going to be. We'll go on and have some inquiries. Let's see about the virtue here. Violent. Katerina, violent, very good. But unrepentant. What is your vice? A swindler, a major vice. Now, we don't necessarily want her as an advisor if we plan to sacrifice someone else. So let's appoint Katerina as advisor, and we'll probably keep her alive. Blackborn. They have a lot of folks this time. How should we proceed? Virtue, self-loathing. Alright, that's not bad. A little boost to penitence. Actually, not bad. Plus 10 instead of plus 5, so that's pretty good. And let's look at Wendelin here. An artist. Major vice. This is excellent. The more major vices we find, the better we can complete the side quest for our Dark Lord of Terribleness. Let's appoint Valen. Oh, we're making a mistake because he's self-loathing. Cadwell. Let's see. There's not too many people here, so that's actually kind of nice. Let's start with her vice, Hana. She's complacent. It's a minor vice. And, of course, we can begin an inquiry. And you know what? Let's just go over here to Svante and ask about the virtue there. And you know what? He doesn't do anything. So he helps out ignorance. He's excellent. Very good. You know what? Just for playing along and helping out with things. Let's appoint him. We'll also notice we have these confines. There's no need to confine anyone yet. Another new thing in an update. That's okay. We'll see where that goes in a little while. We need to appoint an advisor here. So... With ignorance minus 20, I don't know if we want that. I think... Well, why don't we just take Nada? We can also change advisors and so on. So now that we have appointed all of our advisors, we begin the season. And the season contains 3 months, and each month we may select 1 to 3 of them to provide us with special advice. And they'll do these things, and as they do these things, they will improve this score by doing these things by a random amount. They will also affect whatever their virtues and vices are. So if we ask Svetlana to build a monument, well, she's a liar, and our penitence is going to go way down. That is actually a huge problem there. We don't have anyone who's, well, he's okay with self, but plus 10, minus 30, not a big deal. So we don't want her. We want, let's see here. Let's take a little bit of violence, and you'll notice that penitence will go up because that's her job. And you'll see how that affects things. And fervor will go up because we know that's also what she does. We don't know what's going to go down. You see down here, we don't know what's going to go down. If we select Svante, we know that this discipline will go up by a little bit. But ignorance is going to go up by some amount. We don't know how much. Also notice that as we pick people, their houses become happy. So if we have a house that is already satisfied, we don't need to pick them. Yosefka has put us a bit in a problem, but that's my fault. Yosefka is not too happy with us, and we're going to kill their person off at the end of the month, so that season. Oh well. We'll just have to make sure that we kill someone else from later. That's alright. Also, a house is more satisfied. Sorry, you can't see that. A house is more satisfied if you only pick one person than if you pick 3. And houses that are not selected are dissatisfied, of course. Unfortunately, also, the benefits from their thing is going to be negated a little bit or enhanced based on how many people you've selected. So notice here, this is going to destroy penitence, and we could kind of improve that with this. So now penitence goes down by 15 and back up by 5, which might be enough. It means it only goes down by 10, and it's just down to 20. Also, Yosefka will be a little bit happier with us, and that might be good for when we have to kill her. So let's take these two. Begin the month. They will give us an average good or bad outcome. Oh look, we can do more inquiries. We have no need to do that right now. Also, this will sometimes tell us about what this person is. We know that now that she affects ignorance, which is very good. Well, slightly good. We don't know how much, but we learn something. And sometimes we learn stuff by getting these people. Look at the art. So, penitence came back up a little bit. Obedience went up. Lacking fervor, that's not so good. And our penitence is down. It's unfortunate, but it came back up just a little bit. Next result, every month, depending on who we picked, people will be satisfied or dissatisfied, and you'll see this bar go up and down. Our goal is to keep it out of being rebellious. Neutral is okay, satisfied is nice, but eh. And we repeat this again. Notice that penitence came back up. The actual effects, the consequences of these bars or their opinions here being high or low, it's hard to mouse over, don't happen until the end of the season. So I have 3 months to get penitence back up, for example. So we don't want to pick her again. She's going to destroy penitence, and we need extra penitence. We could also use extra fervor. So we definitely want Efferson. Efferson is zealous, so we don't really need to make them super happy with us. We don't really want fervor to go down right now. Obviously, we can't pick Yosefka because it will hurt penitence. But maybe we just stick with this, and it's a little bit much. But we don't know what her sin is, and we'll find out, hopefully. Great outcome. Penitence goes way up. Look at that art. Last time I played this, we didn't have that much art. Ooh, oof, oof, oof. Look at that. She is a major sinner. Something about that, we're going to have to inquire on her. We will have to inquire about her vice. That's a problem. We can't have that. All right. House leader reactions, everyone else is unhappy. They're extraordinarily happy, which is good. They won't mind us questioning her later. Alright. Well, now we need some help with ignorance. Unfortunately, we can't really use Svetlana. Well, we might have to, but I'd rather not. I like my tea. I like my bagel. She's obedient. Shall bring ignorance back up from 10. And we really need that. Even if we split between her and someone else, we don't know how good this ignorance is going to be, and it's going to hurt penitence again. It's a thing that maybe we could get over. We could survive taking this 15, but it's just awful, like, But it would help us with ignorance a little bit. Not as much, though. We just don't know how much. This will help us exactly what we need. So, we got ignorance plus 10. Obedience, that's good. That's good. Vice, penitence went down, so she's unrepentant somehow. That's okay. That's okay. We'll see where the leaders go. Everyone is perfectly fine. The season's end draws near, and a sacrifice must be made to protect the village. I don't know why we're protecting the village, because everyone knows when the Dark God awakens, he's just going to kill us all. So, who's going to be the sacrifice? It's going to be the liar. As a major sinner, sacrificing her isn't as bad than if we sacrificed a minor sinner. Like, well, we don't actually know if he's minor, but we can assume for the moment. So, sorry, Yosefka. Now, it is going to hurt ignorance, which is a problem. However, because her vice is penitence and we're killing a major sinner, notice that penitence will go way up. And because she's a major sinner, their happiness is... They're not happy, but it could be worse. Grudgingly submit. They'll be like, oh, well, I guess. We'll just have to fix this later. Blah. Yes. Yes. Ha ha ha. All right. So, House Yosefka went down by 30, which sounds like a lot. Everyone else approved by 5 because it wasn't them. It was a just sacrifice. If you can kill major sinners, they're okay. They don't like it when you kill minor sinners because they're like, well, you could have forgiven her for a minor sin. Major sin, well, we've got to kill her, but we're still not happy. So, every season, Chernobog will come back and tell us who we need to kill next. He'll also give us a goal. So he wants fervor. He wants the thief. Yes, this is a problem. Additionally, because Chernobog desires fervor, this threshold is higher, so we might not be able to kill the thief if we really need to encourage ignorance and fervor by the end of the season. We have a letter, which is pretty much an event. Unfortunately, only one event will ever happen in the season, sadly. I think maybe sometimes there's 2, but it's awfully rare. Ah, yes. Now there's a inter-house fighting between Cadwell and Blackbourne, who apparently also have thingamajiggers. Oh, that's new. So, if we side with one, Blackbourne's not happy, but Cadwell will be. If we side with the other one, you know. Or we can just say, you know what, you're both, it's okay. We'll just do better things. And obedience goes down a little bit. Maybe that's okay. Really, because they are satisfied and they are neutral, it is probably better to just do this button, since we have zealous people to sacrifice from. So,